Do we want to talk about interest rates in the Jerome Powell presser? Maybe a little bit. Do we want to talk about critical mineral stocks getting rocked? Color on the comeback trail? Maybe a little bit. Do we want to talk earnings in the software? Get it? Microsoft, ServiceNow getting hit. We'll cover all those earnings. Meta having its one of the best days in a long time. Zuck is back with the AI spend. We got Tesla, IBM, Cat. I could go on forever. I will until 8:30 when we have some economic data coming out. And then 8:35, Craig Tavares, president and CEO of Buzz HPC, will be joining us. Jam-packed show today on Pre-Market Prop. Let's get it started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. And this is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, good morning, folks. Here we are, up again, up at 10 3/4 handles in the S&Ps, up near all-time high territory. The buck down 8 cents today here, 96.19. Failed rally once again. TLT in the red, 34 cents, 87.26. Crude on the march. Political tensions here. Once again, we were at 78 or 77.61. That's up 99 cents. GLD busting out here again, up $19 as it ticks around. 3.5%. SLV doesn't want to be left out. That's up a couple percent too at 108. Bitcoin futures not participating in the rally here. Bitcoin futures are down about $1,300. So that is a wrap with our commodities and some of our ETFs. These charts are brought to you by TradeStation, born to trade. Chart, analyze, customize, all in one platform. Dennis, there's busy days on Wall Street, and then there's super busy days on Wall Street. Let's get right into it.
Well, the busiest guy of them all is our own Brent Slava, so I need to bring him in too, because when you have all these earnings and you got like 100 companies reporting last night, he's just spitting us news and spitting us news and spitting us news in the STN think tank. And I mean, we would be lost without you, Brett, because there's so much news on a day like this and a night like last night. Obviously, we were waiting on some major reports there, and we got 3 of them with Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla. But there were fireworks and other reports too. We'll get to ServiceNow as well. But one, Brentster, are you rested from last night? Because it was a busy night.
Feeling good. Yeah. No, it's exciting. Yeah,
he likes it when he got lots of news.
I like it. Keep me busy. I look down at my clock. Triple D and I do the closing bell show from 3:30 to 5 p.m. on the STN network. It's a bit of a, like real-time breaking news analysis. I'm breaking news. Dennis is giving analysis. Dennis is watching his scanner. Whoa, this stock's moving. Is there news? And then I go track down the news. So it's fun. Last night I looked down thinking it was going to be like 4:15. It was like 4:45. So, it goes by quicker. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's start with the good news. And the good news is Meta. Have this in my long-term portfolio. I did sell a little piece ahead of the report because it had a big run. I kept about 2/3 of the position there. So, which I'm happy about because the stock's obviously moved up significantly here. Give us the details on the report, then we're going to break down the technicals with our own technical analyst, Mr. Joel Elconin.
Q4 earnings, solid 888 versus an 820 estimate. Sales also beating 59.9 billion. Guidance was solid. Q1 sales guidance 53.5 to 56.5 billion. Analysts were down around 51 billion. A little color here from Joel Clino over at Wedbush. Thanks to Joel. He called it an incredible first quarter revenue outlook, outweighing any concerns related to increased expense guidance for 2026. On the call, he noted that management spent a lot of time discussing how the AI spending is helping fuel revenue by helping engagement, advertising relevancy, and monetization. Looking at Meta here this morning, shares are trading up about 9%.
Stock flying, analysts all over this too. Price target raised at Truist, Canaccord, Key, Stifel, Evercore, D.A. Davidson, Goldman. Price target raised at B of A, BMO, Barclays, Jefferies, Mizuho, Scotia, J.P. Morgan, Baird, and Piper. Holy, that is a chase. But you know what? I mean, it was a great quarter. They're getting on board with the winners here. It looks like Meta is starting to turn back into a winner. Joel, thoughts, concerns? It's a big move ahead of the expected move. The expected move was 47 points. We're up 57 points, so just slightly above the expected move. What are your thoughts here?
Believe it or not, this is an easy technical look for me. And I'll do it, make it short and sweet. Gap down from the last earnings. Did you ever think you would see 742.51 again? Well,
No,
you
not
almost
this
did.
quickly.
Yeah, no. So pre-market high, 742.90. There's your gap fill. I'm still going to call that resistance because we leaked $6. And since the expected move is about $10 lower from here, right? Because we're up 57. I don't know if you'll see 716, but you could. So there's the potential range. 716. I don't think you're going to get back up to that
I
7.
like this. Joel giving us the potential range, trying to call the top, call the bottom, where the stock for the range. I like that.
Good
I
luck.
like that.
Good luck with that.
Okay. So
But there
that's
you
the
go.
good news. The bad news is software is just getting assassinated here again. I mean, the software stocks have been going down, down, down. But now Microsoft, and we've been talking about SaaS, software as a service, potentially getting disrupted by AI. The three major software companies that reported last night are all down significantly here. So there is a theme, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. We were debating this in the STN think tank last night. We can debate it on this show as well. I want to hear what you guys and girls have to say. But right now, the market is selling software first and asking questions later. And the biggest gun of them all, Microsoft, had a nice run into earnings. The earnings here, not bad. Brentster, give them to us, but market not happy.
Earnings not bad, but market not happy. Good summary there. Triple D company reporting Q2 adjusted earnings 414, a beat versus 397. Sales 81.3 billion versus an 80.3 billion estimate. A nice beat there. The guidance, company is expecting Q3 sales 80.65 to 81.75. Analysts are up around 81.2 billion. So guidance like a little light there.
Also, lots of commentary here talking about sales powering revenue, cloud revenue growth 26%. CEO says only at the beginning phases of AI. There's just so much commentary here. Overall, pretty bullish call. There was nothing really too concerning here, but it was just a steady, it went gap down on the earnings and then it was a steady leak. And I think the market is just punishing all software names now. It's like guilty first, it's until you're proven innocent. And I mean, right now, the software companies are all guilty because they're just worried about their businesses here. So, Joel, break down the technicals here first.
I'll just say, I'll give you a range here, and then we'll let Brett throw in some commentary. The Bulls got to defend this thing. The low of the move is 430, 869.
Not far.
I'll just say, if there's not a base of support built here between 440 and 450, then I'm really worried about this stock, and it's a position in my portfolio that I've been worried about for a long time. But the Bulls, I mean, even you look at the monthly, and yeah, I mean, 550, 450, no big deal. But you will see what was happening to some of these stocks. So Bulls really got to step it up here at this level. We'll see if they're able to do it. Brentster, final comments on Microsoft?
I just wanted to mention, and we can get into the other couple software names here. I saw an analyst call the Microsoft report, quote, muddy to say the least, which I think is like a pretty good description of a lot of what's happening in software. We also had SAP report early this morning. They reported a beat on the bottom line. They reported a miss on the top line. They announced a $10 billion buyback plan. Now let's go to kind of one of a bit of the smoking guns here. ServiceNow. And we want you to consider, folks, how the company set up this earnings report. They announced their earnings, but also they announced a large buyback plan. They also did 3 name drop press releases. If you know what we're referring to saying name drop, it's kind of when a company, sort of like has a nice juicy name to mention that they're going to be partnering with. ServiceNow also doing press releases with their earnings report that they're going to be partnering with Anthropic. They're going to be partnering with Fiserv. They're going to be partnering with Panasonic Avionics. The report for ServiceNow, a beat, they reported 92 cents versus 88 cents. They reported sales of about 3.57 billion versus a 3.5 billion estimate. Their exec, Bill
Bill
McDermott,
McDermott, the CEO.
was on Mad Money last night. And Dennis, you watched this
Yeah.
interview and you thought it was very revealing about the state of ServiceNow. And I think you're going to zoom this out and talk about the state of software also.
Yeah. Bill McDermott was visibly upset about his stock price. Like we know, obviously, very close ties to Benioff, so maybe they get the same playbook there. Benioff's been visibly upset about his stock for 2 years. But Bill McDermott was very upset about his stock price. He said that the price will re-rate higher. He said his stock is going higher. I've never seen a CEO like come out so convicted. He said also of the $5 billion buyback that they announced, they're doing $2 billion immediately. As soon as compliance gives them the green light, they're going in the open market and buying $2 billion worth of stock. That's what he said. I don't think it's done like that, but that's what he said. And then Kramer's like, you mean like you're just going to buy it up and then people could sell it to you? He's like, do whatever you want, but we're coming in, we're buying the stock. He also said, I'm putting some of my own compensation directly back in the stock, saying he's going to be buying shares of the stock. So telling you there's going to be probably an SEC filing that Bill McDermott is coming, that Bill McDermott is going to be doing insider buys here. So, I mean, all of that you would think would make the stock rip, roar, rally. They rallied at $2 on the interview, and then they tanked it again. And the stock is sitting down near its pre-market low at 117. I've got to ask, like, what is happening here? Like, what is going on? Because I've never seen a CEO so convicted that his stock price is going higher, and the market just shot him the middle finger is what they did. They shot Bill McDermott the middle finger and took the stock down 7 points after the interview anyways. So I have no idea. The earnings were fine, but something is happening here with software. Like, so we are at a point here now where software is a screaming buy across the board, or we are really going to get disrupted by AI, and some of these businesses are going to go, some of these businesses are going to get disrupted. So, and then SAP, same thing. They do a huge buyback, to your point, Brentster. And, the stock goes down, the earnings were fine. Stock drops $30. They hate software. Whoever they is, I don't know who they is, but it's the market. The market hates software right now. And I don't know what turns it around.
Well, Dennis, you said it very interestingly on the ServiceNow report. You said this report was designed to get the stock price higher. They timed I guarantee you they timed being on Mad Money and McDermott with their earnings report, with this buyback, with these name drop press releases. Did management get together before this report at ServiceNow and say, like, how do we get the stock price higher? I think all of these things that we're seeing suggest that was the case.
And I'm not saying that's anything bad with that. Management's just pissed off the stock is so low, and they want the stock price to go higher. They feel their stock is undervalued, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, taking $5 billion corporate dollars, going to do the buyback. ServiceNow, McDermott coming in and saying, taking part of his compensation, putting it in the stock. I mean, it was so convicted. Like, he's like, the market is wrong, and our stock is going to re-rate higher. So convicted about it. That's why we're really focused on this interview, because it just tells you the state of software here right now. I mean, Joel Kalina had a great quote this morning. We love Joel. Obviously comes on our show all the time. But what was that quote, Brentster?
He said, funny guy. He's a funny guy. He said, RIP to the software bull market of January 22nd to January 26th. A 5-day span, ladies and gentlemen.
That's good. But it's true. I mean, all these stocks rallied into the reports for 4 days. We talk about Catalyst trading and stocks being strong ahead of the reports. Even the weakest ones, ServiceNow and Microsoft, got nice rallies into the reports. And, and then boom, you come out and bang, here it is. Here's the reports. They're not bad. Here's the buybacks. Here's everything we need to do to try to get stock price going higher. And they go lower.
Okay, I have the answer. What's wrong with software, and I can personally attest to it.
Okay.
It's AI. It's
Well, that's what we've been
AI.
saying.
I mean, no, but I like. Am I a programmer? No, but I'm putting some stuff in Chat GPT that I want programmed, and it's doing
doing
it.
it,
Figures
right?
it out.
It
Yeah.
figures it out.
I
Yeah.
mean, you've got, like we talked about, disruption happening for search with Google, and then they came out with Gemini, and now they're disrupting everything else. Like my friend Mike across the street is like not a programmer either, and he's getting us information in the STN room by using Gemini in different ways. Like I have no idea how to program, but I just tell it what it wants to do, and it figures it out. It's only going to get smarter. So I mean, at a certain point in time here, like, and I brought this up, and it upset a few people in the STN room last night. But what about cybersecurity? I mean, could you tell Gemini, protect my computer? Could you tell ChatGPT, protect my computer
Why
from
not?
outside, influences? So obviously Palo Alto Networks, obviously buying CyberArk, Crowd, all specialize in, protecting protection. Is AI going to disrupt these businesses? Because we've got to start asking that question. Is this software different? CrowdStrike is 100 points off of its highs now. Markets are at all-time highs. Palo Alto Networks is 50 points off its highs. Do they eventually start hitting these stocks too? I don't know how far it spreads. I don't know. I'm asking. And people will say,
Right.
yeah, this is what exactly, Ricky, this is exactly the same reaction we got in the STN think tank last night. People are like, no way. No way. There's no way. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it's possible. It's possible that we don't know how much AI is going to disrupt businesses that we couldn't even think of. What about the gaming companies? We had this conversation. I mean, you're going to have AI creating video games for yourself. You're like, I want a video game that does this, and I want to be able to play it. And I think AI is going to be able to create it in your own video game. Like you have your own video game with your own people and doing your own thing. I like the possibilities are so endless here that I think we don't even have a comprehension of the disruption that is going to happen. And I also read something else, and I don't know. People are just shooting their mouths off. I'm shooting my mouth off too. But somebody was saying we could lose as much as 50% of white collar jobs by 2030 from AI. Somebody said that yesterday. Just so I know where I read it on Twitter. I don't know who said that.
It must be right then.
Well, but think about it though, Joel. Like we say, blue collar has been disrupted for a long time. Robotics have disrupted blue collar. I mean, you can see, you go into McDonald's, and not even blue collar, kids' jobs and stuff disrupted there too. You got the automated tele. But I mean, white collar jobs, educated jobs are getting disrupted. Like imagine editors, like podcasts, like us. Maybe AI is going to make this Stock Trader Network podcast and disrupt us too. I mean, the possibilities are really endless here, folks. And right now, the market is telling you there are clear winners and clear losers. And they're saying we need memory like crazy. Micron, SanDisk, STX, Western Digi just keep flying high. And then, we don't need certain names here. And unfortunately, for some of these companies here, like ServiceNow and CRM, they're in the wrong basket. Do they move and do they, able to like change their basket? Maybe, which may bring us to an IBM, conversation here.
Wait, before you do that, before I want you to do that, just a couple things. Bill McDermott just read the Duskin Moskovitz book of buying your own stock. And that's another software company, right? And look, I don't know if I'd be wanting to be doing that.
Asana, the CEO Moskovitz buys more of his shares all the time. He very much believes his stock is undervalued. This stock can't go up. Like it just doesn't go up. I don't know.
All right, so
I'm looking at my portfolio right now, my long-term portfolio, which has about 40 positions, saying which ones are software. Because maybe I don't want to own any software. That's a hard thing because software is in everything. It's a hard thing to figure out. What you're trying to envision where we're going. And maybe it's just wrong. Maybe all this is just, like, remember we were worried about Google getting disrupted, and then Google ended up reinventing itself, coming out with Gemini, and off to the races it goes. So maybe these companies can figure it out. Like, I would never bet against Microsoft not figuring it out. So if you're going to bet on a software company, it's probably Microsoft. But some of the smaller names, who knows what gets disrupted here? I mean, Adobe goes down pretty much every day. You want to be the hero and call it, say a bottom in Adobe. I mean, this stock was $800. It's $299 here now, $291 this morning, down another $6. Market goes up, it goes down. Market goes up, it goes down. Market goes down, it goes down. I mean, these are just terrible stocks right now.
I love that, bringing this topic up creates emotion in the chat.
Oh, it does.
Be reminded, Dennis is not an expert on software. He's not an expert in cybersecurity. You know what he is an expert is? The market. This is what the market is telling us. This is what the market is showing by driving these prices down. So, just something to keep in mind, I think, here in this discussion.
Yeah, like I don't know, and there may be some diamonds in the rough here, and there probably is. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's probably some really good buys out here right now, but I have multiple people asking me, "Are you buying Microsoft dip?" And I'm like, I don't know, and that's why we had the huge discussion in the STN think tank, because I'm like, I'm not sure what is happening here. So do I want to be jumping into software names? Do I want to be buying a CrowdStrike? It's 100 points off the high. I agree. We need more cybersecurity. It's only going to get worse, the hacking. But is there disruption going to happen for these businesses from AI? I don't know the answer to that. But the market is telling us that there is a risk. And that's why these stocks are repricing lower. Sorry, Bill McDermott, your ServiceNow stock is re-rating lower because the market believes that your businesses are going to be disrupted by AI. That's scary thoughts.
I mean, just to allude to the other comment you made about AI, not only, disrupting the software, but the employment. And we glossed over it yesterday. Didn't Amazon I don't know if they were white collar or what the people were. They laid off 16,000 people.
Yeah.
And then was it Cat or Deere or somebody that laid off a bunch of people? And
what about Meta? Meta in the commentary, and Brentster, you read me this, and I was like, well, what does that mean? You're like, you know what it means. What was that line? They said, oh yeah, the company is flattening teams with the use of AI.
Teams. Yep.
Flattening teams. What does that mean? Flattening teams. You know what that means? They're cutting jobs.
Zuck said that in like an optimistic way too. So think about from the perspective of the corporations. They want to be flattening.
For sure. There is going to be companies. So let's talk the bullishness of this. There are going to be certain companies that make way more money because of AI, because they don't have to have their wages, their salaries are all going to be gone. Some of these, like they're going to be able to cut workforce. That's a huge expense for software. For companies in itself, tech companies. It's one of the biggest expenses is these technical engineers, it's these programmers. I mean, if they start cutting some of that stuff out, they're going to make more money. A company like Meta could really be a huge benefit to them. And I mean, maybe Microsoft, makes more money too because they cut it out. It's the core businesses, though, the ones that are selling you service, the ones that are selling you software to do things. Those are the businesses that are under attack. This is just the beginning, Amatus. This is just the beginning of it. We are in the first inning of this all, and nobody knows how this plays out. But the market itself is placing bets right now, and it is saying software is in trouble.
Our prediction market expert in the STN, well, we have two prediction market experts in the STN room. Prad comes up with some exotic things, but Mike France says that Kalshi says there's an 11% chance that unemployment rate will hit 20% or higher by 2030.
Where is it right now?
5.
What does that look like? Like let's just say that hypothetically happens and you have people with 200, not talking people with $25,000 a year jobs, people with $250,000 a year jobs all of a sudden are unemployed. What does that do to the economy? Because these people are major consumers. When you've got a person making $250,000 or 300 or 400,000 a year, these people aren't, when you got people like 25,000 a year, they're basically just barely getting by. I mean, when you start eliminating jobs, white collar jobs, I have no idea what that does to the economy. It's all unknown, and nobody has the answer. And if somebody tells you they have the answer for all this, they don't know. What we are just saying is these are all the risks. We don't know how this is going to play out. Some people are saying AI is going to create more jobs for humans. Maybe it is.
I don't know about that.
But I don't think so. I think that's AI people trying to feed you the Kool-Aid and saying this is going to be good for everyone. You know what the market is saying? AI is going to be good for some companies and going to be very bad for others. AI is going to be good for some people and very bad for other people. Like hell. Maybe as traders, we're all replaced by AI. Maybe I can't trade stocks in 5 years because AI is just too good at it. I could get totally disrupted. Now, we've had high frequency trading in here for 20 years, and they haven't disrupted me yet. I'm still able to make money, on a regular basis. But I mean, it's possible that we could go that way. So this is just such a fun conversation. There's so many things to think about here. But start looking at your portfolio, maybe, and you're thinking about what companies really truly benefit from AI. Meta probably does. Meta cutting expenses.
Yep.
It's also, a platform that brings people together. I mean, people want to be connected. So that is still there. So I think something like that, I don't see, and I'm just thinking out loud, and you maybe have a different opinion. Maybe you're going to give me an opinion that Meta can be disrupted. Maybe all businesses can be disrupted to a certain extent. But there's some obvious ones, and there's some not so obvious ones. And this conversation is super important.
Just getting started too. Another top contributor in the STN room, JV says, what jobs AI doesn't take, robots will.
Well, that's AI. That's physical AI.
Yeah.
So that's still the same stuff. And that's going to be like, they're going to take like the hard blue collar jobs away. So we'll have, AI, physical AI taking away blue collar jobs, all obviously Geminis and whatever else these companies come up with, taking away some of your white collar jobs. And you're like, this 20% unemployment in 2030 may not be a far-fetched
I'm officially
tale.
putting in my
possible.
retirement date at the absolute latest, December 31st, 2029. I don't want to be talking with 20%. I'm going to rein us in here, and everyone wants to know about now. Yeah, sorry. Now, right here, right now.
ServiceNow.
I mean, I think this is probably over the expected move. I got a little confluence for you. I don't know how it's going to hold up, but I don't want to be short when he buys $2 billion at the market. 116.50 is your pre-market low. If you've been waiting to buy this since November of 23, when it bottomed at 116.09, that's the good news. The bad news is the super extra major support in this doesn't come into the 105, 106 area.
Don't tell Bro McDermott that. He's going to be really mad. Wow.
Brent, can you reach out to ServiceNow and see if we can
get him on? Because we want to ask him the questions that Kramer didn't ask him. I want to say, how many of your businesses are actually going to be disrupted? He's going to say, none of them. None. You're an idiot. I'm never coming on your podcast again.
It'll be worth it.
Let's go to good software. Let's go to
IBM.
the opposite.
So where does IBM fit in?
I am long IBM, but here is a company that has totally reinvented itself. Think about where IBM was to where IBM is. This company originally came out in the 80s making PCs, making computers, your IBM personal computer. They don't even do any of that anymore. I don't even think they make IP. They do. It's a fraction of a percent. They've totally reinvented themselves. It's taken a lot of years, but you wonder, and now they're talking about going full quantum. I mean, they're going in the direction like thinkers here, like not getting stuck on this is our business, this is our cash cow, this is what we milk. They're constantly trying to get Watson. They dropped the ball on Watson for sure. They could have been way ahead on that. They didn't do great. But, they are trying to be the leader in quantum. They're talking about it in the call here, too. Give us the earnings, and we'll break down the analysis.
Earnings, we're good. Earnings, 452 versus a 432 estimate. Sales also beating 19.7 billion versus a 19.3 billion estimate. Guidance was a little light here. Guidance, looking for 2026 sales more than 70.9 billion. Analysts were around 70.5 billion or so. So not like the most, little light, yeah.
So a little bit better. But, they're talking about what everybody wants to hear. Like, we want to hear about quantum. They're talking, and I missed the headline here, and I can't see it here now, but about something with 2029, like being full on, like something with quantum in 2029. Let me go try to dig that up while Joel does technicals.
Okay, I'm going to do quick technicals here, and you are back at all-time high territory here. I had it on the monthly. I'm going to erase it here. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to show you this. And I'm going to tell you what the all-time high is. See if we get any confluence with the pre-market high. All-time high in IBM back in November, 324.90. Backed off the close lower that day, but it was still a really good day. And in the pre-market, you just hit 323.88, 324. If that's your target, that's what you're looking for, the all-time high. Just tell you, the last time it got up here, it really had a hard time holding those gains. Do we have some economic data here?
So this was the money from the conference call. We remain on track to deliver the first large-scale fault-tolerant quantum computer by 2029. I mean, you had obviously NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang last year saying quantum is 15 to 20 years out. IBM is saying we're 3 years out. That's worth some money. If they can hit that target, that's worth some money. I'm not selling.
Don't ever sell. Don't ever. But
that's Joel's thesis, because Joel just buys and holds everything. He doesn't sell it all, although he's nervous about his Microsoft position after the rain.
I am very nervous about my Microsoft position.
I mean, Oracle too. Oracle, like they want to talk Oracle. It's database software. I mean, could that get disrupted? We never had this conversation, but we say Oracle, oh, it's the spend. Oh, it's a lot of other things. There's also possibilities of disruption here too. I have a small piece of Oracle in my long-term portfolio.
Yeah, I have a small piece too.
On. It only goes down. The stock gets good news and goes down. When your stock goes down on good news, you got a problem stock. Maybe it's not a problem company, but it's definitely a problem stock. I don't know what turns the Oracle around, but right now, Oracle, been terrible.
You know what? I'm sorry. I got it. Before we go to our guest here in a few minutes, I have one bad tangent here, and I've decided one sector, one job that AI or robots cannot disrupt.
What?
Lifeguards.
You telling me Optimus can't sit up there? That sounds easy. Optimus.
Oh, really? And then it goes in the water and it goes like that?
No, it'll be fine. They'll have the battery that it can
waterproof robots. Okay. Yeah, you and Elon Musk you're coming up with waterproof robots.
Right, we need waterproof robots because we're trying to disrupt lifeguards too. We're trying to disrupt every single job possible. Paramedics. Paramedics are a long ways to go, but that's going to be possible too. Yeah. It's just envision it could be everything. I mean, we could go full Terminator here where they realize, Skynet takes over. They realize they don't need humans anymore, and then they just get rid of us all. It's going to happen. Musk said there was like a 10% chance this all goes bad. I think he was referring to that scenario. There's no turning back, though. We're on the road. We're on the ride. We can't put the genie back in the bottle. There's no okay, stop AI. This is bad for us. There's no stopping it. So it's here. It's out. Let's enjoy the ride. But it's fun to talk about. And it's fun to think about. Okay, let's go. What do we got? Do we have any economic data? No.
We did have some, but it was not exciting. Jobless claims were a little higher than expected. We got Q3 non-farm productivity right in line at 4.9%. Market not reacting. That's your breaking news.
Okay, awesome. With that being said, guests will be coming on here in a couple of minutes here. Let's move to this rare earth headline here. We'll try to get to in the next 3 minutes because you had MP Materials and all the rare earth stocks getting absolutely crushed here last night. The U.S., it's a Reuters report, U.S. was to move away from the price floors that they had talked about for rare earths. They later corrected it and said that this does not affect the MP Materials deal. So you see MP Materials last night, which got absolutely, it was down 15%, I think, at one time last night, has rallied almost all the way back here, coming up to 64.5. MP was like fighting it immediately. They came at Reuters hard and said, this is just untrue. They had their response. And if you want to dig that up, you can, Brett, but we probably don't have time, just I'm parsing words. But yeah. And then Reuters did correct for MP and said that this does not affect the current deals, will affect future deals. So the MP price flooring that was already done with the U.S. government here stands, according to Reuters here now.
And so we had a couple questions, and reminder that U.S. Rare Earth, USAR, also has a deal with the U.S. government. As far as I know, they did not come out. And we had a question or two in the STN room about sort of like the economics of price floors. Keep in mind that price floors support the price that these companies are able to sell at. So if a price floor is removed, that floor can also be removed. The example that I used was if $2 was a minimum price, there's going to be some of these critical minerals that certainly are more valuable than $2 an ounce. I'm just making that number up. But some of these critical minerals, which are a lot less needed right now, their prices for things could fall below $2 per ounce, as an example. A little bit into the economics of kind of like how price floors work.
Yeah, so you saw MP really get hammered last night. We can go through the other ones because there's a pile of them here. USAR, that one is currently trading down. And these did not bounce like MP because Reuters came out and said it doesn't affect the MP deal, but didn't say anything about USAR. So, I mean, USAR has got a deal here too, obviously with the government, which was just 3 days ago. Didn't say anything about them. So they are still down 9%. UAMY is down 7.18%. CRML down 7.26%. Another one, METC, Ramaco Resources, down 5% here this morning. TMC down 3.5%. We're reaching with some of these littler ones, but they are moving. TMQ down 3%. Yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of them.
All right, step back. MP here. I'm going to do this one because this is the primary one, and you had happy sellers over 70. Ahead of the 50% retracement. They moved down to 68 yesterday. So until this thing can get back clear 68 to 70, looks like you got a potential test here of the 50-day moving average, just under $60. So let's see if they shake this off. They got really, really carried away when they took it to 57.23. So $7 off that low. Anyone that bought the dip here will probably be wanting to focus on the bottom of yesterday's range at 66.12.
Okay. So that's, where we are. I'm long MP Materials, full disclosure, in the long-term account. Going to analyze that one a little bit further today on what I need to do with that stock after all this information's come out. There was a lot of other earnings here. We can go to that. We're still waiting on our guests. So I think we maybe go to some of these other earnings here because there's a pile of them. We didn't cover Tesla. I mean, this is important here. So how do we miss Tesla? Because there's so many other cool things to talk about right now. Tesla stock not doing much here, but Brentster, give us the details.
All right, pull up the Tesla figures here, and then I want to go into a little commentary on the Optimus in the release. Company reported 50 cents a beat versus a 45-cent estimate. Sales 24.9 billion versus a 24.78 billion estimate. Let me find here the commentary on robotics Optimus, because you kind of scan through these Tesla releases and you're sort of looking for some qualitative info that you can get out of this. In the section on robotics, Tesla said, we made further progress on the Optimus program last year. In Q1 of this year, we plan to unveil the Gen 3 version of Optimus, which will include major upgrades from version 2, including our latest hand design. The Gen 3 is our first design meant for mass production. Preparations are underway for the first production line, including supply chain readiness, with start of production planned before the end of 2026 and eventual planned capacity of 1 million robots per year. There was no timeline given for that eventual planned capacity of 1 million robots per year. You've been following Optimus Triple D. Any of these comments here? Preparations underway for first production line, starting production the end of 2026. That's something we heard before, right? Can you remember?
Well, yeah, he's talking about end of 2026 and then into 2027. I think he said end of 2027, a full functioning selling Optimus, ready to scale, ready to sell. That's optimistic. We know with Musk, with his timelines here, he rarely hits them. He usually accomplishes what he's set out to accomplish. It's the timelines that he gets wrong. And he's admitted that before here too. Yeah. But, let's just go back to the report here and talk, Tesla stock in itself. I mean, it's a car company at this point in time. All the revenue is basically derived from, let's get some energy, a little bit other, but majority of the revenue is from cars. I think the big headlines here is that they have over 1 million people now subscribed to full self-drive, which is, a huge, it's come from where it was. FSD has come a long ways. I mean, Josh, our own Josh Walter, who obviously is with us in the STN room, has one, and he says it's unbelievable. He says he's in Calgary. It's cold up there. I'm like, do you drive on the snowy roads? He's like, yeah. And he uses it. I mean, sometimes he says I take it off, but he's like, I'm like, when's the last time I made a mistake? And he's like, months. He's like, it's been months since I made a mistake. So I don't know, like maybe he just has a really good experience with it. But we were talking before, a year ago on Full Self Drive, how many mistakes it was making, and it was like every 15 minutes you got to like intervene or it's going to get in an accident. It's kind of gone a long ways. Like we've got a long ways here now. So impressive, engineering feat to where, they have gone with Full Self Drive. And does it get all the way there till we get 100%? Well, they never get to 100% on anything, but they get to 99.9%? Probably. So, I mean, that's in itself is why Tesla stock trades where it is. Because if Tesla didn't have the Full Self Drive, didn't have Optimus, didn't have any of these other businesses, the stock's probably $100 stock or less, for real. So you got $300 of like future Robotaxi, FSD, Optimus that's pricing in. The stock is pricing in for the future. That is why it is there. That's why when you see the car sales, and they've only fallen over the course of the last 2 years, the car sales are less than they were. The company's making way less money than it was a year ago, but the stock price can continue to go higher on multiple expansion because everybody is so excited about the future. So that's the Tesla story here. It's all about the future, not about the present. Does he get there? Timelines are always interesting.
Dennis, to your point, I'm looking at auto sales and Tesla's other segments for the last few years here. 2023, they had 82 billion in total auto sales. 2025, that was down to 70 billion. Now, for energy generation and storage, their sales are going up. They were almost 13 billion last year. Services and other sales also going up, also about 12.5 billion last year. So auto sales down. Other parts of their company are expanding their sales, but there's so much uncertainty with this business right now.
And again, the core business is not doing well. EVs are not doing well here. So, I mean, that's the concern. So I'm very much torn on Tesla. Like I was very big in Tesla 2 years ago. And obviously, I've gotten off that because I do believe his political commentary being so one-sided. Not saying, again, this conversation isn't about if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat. If you're a CEO, you want to stay in the middle because you don't want to cut off half your customer base. Elon Musk does not do that. He is far on one side, and he does cut off a lot of people. Some people will never buy a Tesla product because they don't like Elon Musk. That's never where you want to be from a CEO perspective. And that, my friends, is why the car sales have went down. Does he get to a point where, the stuff that he's making is so cool that people will just overlook him because they just want to have it? Maybe. But I mean, there's a lot of question marks around. The biggest risk to Tesla is Elon Musk and what he might say. That's always been the biggest risk, in my opinion, of the Tesla thesis. So I still have a position in here, but it's a lot smaller than it was because I think the risk of him saying something to piss off a lot of people is still tremendously high.
All the stocks we've talked about, a lot of them have exceeded the expected move. Tesla has not. So I think this is going to be a real grinder of a day. You can tell the pre-market action will give your parameters. Your after hours high comes in at 450.55. You've leaked $10 off that. I expect to find sellers ahead of that. And then it took went straight up after the report. So we'll use the close as support, as that is also a double bottom. Craig Tavares, our guest, because of the bad weather up there in the great north of Canada, had to drive his daughter to school and got some traffic on the way. So Craig is going to have to join us on another session. But
that's okay. We're in the middle of earnings season. We have like 10,000 stocks to talk about there. So he chose a good day. It's like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. There's only 10,000 stocks.
I know. We had the Brent there pulling his hair out with all these reports here, and he's got a lot of hair to pull out. So let's keep the party going.
I mean, last night, so not giving any love here. Like we had LRCX, which has been on fire too. Like we talk about winners and losers here. I mean, the chips just continue to go. So here's one that nobody's talking about here. Applied Materials has been running and running and running. They obviously move very closely with Lam Research. Well, Lam Research comes out with their report last night. Stock continues to go higher too. Clear winner with AI all around. Like, these are like no-brainer plays that people are in them for. Now, have they run too far? That's the question. Do you wait for a dip? I'm not chasing them, but I mean, you can't argue with the markets. These things go up every day here. How was the LRCX report?
LRCX report was solid. They reported 127, a 10-cent beat. Sales 5.35 billion versus 5.24 billion. But the guidance, specifically the Q3 sales guidance, was really strong. They're expecting sales in the range of 5.4 to 6 billion. Analysts are down under 5.3 billion. Earnings for the quarter were not as exciting. 125 to 145. Analysts are down at 120. Stock this morning trading up kind of a modest 4%.
And what we saw yesterday, I want to go to ASML for a second here because
Oh,
what we
that
saw
is you quit. No, stop stealing my line.
Go Technicals
Back in
LRCX.
your cage.
Go.
No.
Sorry.
I already had it in my mind. I say don't get ASML'd in this one. Now I know this thing was up $100. This was up $100 and it came in, ended up being negative. And I know this is only $8, but I mean, if you want to talk about getting up to the pre-market high and clearing resistance, that's what you have to do in LRCX. Okay. Now that I ruined your thing, you tried to ruin mine.
ASML. I would say exactly right. You know, maybe it got overdone. Upside capitulation yesterday being up 100 points and turns around and goes red. But look what happens today. It just gets it all back. Like there's so much underneath demand in these stocks. So it loses the 100 points, gets 60 back. It didn't even say anything. It's just up in sympathy with, LRCX and the other ones. So, I mean, this is, maybe they did say something. Maybe I missed it here. But, I mean, we're seeing all the chip stocks just super strong here again. Lots of price target actually raises here overnight. But it's incredible to see the underneath demand in some of these stocks here too. As much as you have just massive overhead supply at Microsoft and ServiceNow and some of these service stocks, you have so much underneath demand in anything to do with semiconductor equipment like LRCX. I mean, and chips. Like it's just these stocks is where the market wants to be. And I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
We can move away from the tech trade for a minute. Maybe we should move away from the tech trade for a minute and talk, other stocks because there's been some cool stuff here. Lockheed Martin reported here this morning. We saw, I believe it was General Dynamics NOC, same thing yesterday. So I'm just setting up the landscape. You got underneath demand in the war stocks. We don't know where this Iran situation's going. We know Trump's kind of cooled off a little bit, but now, last night he was talking about this again. We saw General Dynamics report, gets hammered. They buy it right back. NOC was down 2 days ago. They buy it right back. So you can see clear underneath demand in certain stocks, and the war stocks, which have nothing to do with AI, but everything to do with Trump, continue to get underneath demand. So you have Lockheed Martin today trading higher. Maybe a reverse, but if you reverse too hard, they like buying the dips on these stocks anyways. Thoughts on LMT?
LMT, new all-time high in the pre-market trading, 638. Now you've leaked. I think you have to find a level ahead of that. The fact that you've leaked $18 off that level, I will give you potential support someday. That former all-time high, which was made yesterday, 599.32. I maybe throw my bid out if you think it's going near that area. I'd throw my bid out at 600 maybe and see if it could fill the gap. But just an incredible move here, up $22. And I don't have the expected move on this one, but it's a $600 stock. So pretty big move for LMT, up on 62,000 shares.
Then you have LHX that reported, obviously same sector, Harris Corp. Down $8 here this morning. But again, we've already seen it. It's already rallied 10 from the low because you know why? There's underneath demand in defense stocks. So sometimes it's that simple. The earnings reports will give you oscillation. They'll give you candles that go way high, way low, different things. But if you get that overall trend going, like there is demand for defense, demand for chips and anything to do with semiconductor equipment, and there's not demand for software. So, I mean, if you just get that overall and have that in your head when you're trading, now you're looking at buying dips on defense stocks, buying dips on chip stocks, and selling rips on software. Holy crap, you're just printing money if you're doing that. LHX, again, dips. The dip can't even be held down over, not even for an hour here. They're already buying it back.
Different technically set up here. In order to get back into yesterday's range, you got to rally over $3 to 355.04. And then the other thing that's significant about this is the all-time closing high was made on Tuesday, 360.54. Yesterday, 360.30. So there's a couple levels for LHX as we head into the opening bell.
Continuing with the earnings parade here, I want to do Valero, VLO, because I've been talking about this one in the STN think tank, and I like this play. I mean, if we're going to bring all this thick oil over from Venezuela and start trucking it in, somebody's got to refine it. And I feel like the refiners, there's the big three, VLO, and there's MPC and PSX. Those are your big refiners. But Valero's kind of best of breed. I mean, the stock price is not great, 2.5% dividend. Valuation. I mean, you can go into the oils, you can go into the Exxons and the Chevrons, but I mean, and they've done really well. I mean, oils trade has been getting really hot here too. But I feel like Valero is sleepy. I feel like it's consolidating here. Now, again, you may want to wait a day or two to see how it digests this report. But I mean, Valero, I think, is a decent play if you're going to have to refine more thick oil.
Spotty trades here, trading up 348. We're trading well above yesterday's range. The next daily high that comes into place is 189.87. That's a couple bucks away, but as you can see in the chart here, not a lot of activity. If you're looking for a pullback and a gap fill, the bottom of yesterday's range, not too far. Actually, this is one you might want to look right instead of left, because you're right at yesterday's high, right around the 187 area. So it catches a bid here. Got perhaps some room up to the 190 area.
Okay, let's preview some earnings for tonight, because there is some big guns on deck. And I would say normally Apple is the biggest report, and it probably still is. But you know who a close second here is right now? It's SanDisk. People are going to want to see what SanDisk has to say, because SNDK is quietly up. Not quiet even anymore, but it was for a bit. It was quiet. Started the year, this is crazy. Started the year at $237. It is now $541. We're only 29 days and 20 trading days into the year, and 20 trading days. This stock has more than doubled. Memory just exploding higher here. What do they say? You know, what is like the thought process? What can they say to keep the stock party going? Like, is it just the bar too high for, to sustain? Or do they say, we just see memory prices continue to go higher and we're just going to keep raking it in? I mean, these are unbelievable moves, SanDisk and Micron. They just don't stop going up.
Don't know what to say about this stock, but I did do some portfolio review yesterday.
Were you long SanDisk?
I was long Western Digital from April 16th, 2016.
That's got to be. He is Warren Buffett. He holds forever, Joel.
And I remember who I got that call from. It was from the Reverend Emmanuel Lemelson.
Yeah, I remember the Rev. Yeah. He always prayed for us too.
And I got it, and then I got some SanDisk in the spinoff.
Oh, Joel, look at this. He's just stumbling into shares of SanDisk, probably at $20.
He has owned so many stocks, he doesn't even know what he owns, folks. He's
those
he is the real Warren Buffett. You should take over Berkshire Hathaway, not Joel, and not Greg Abel, maybe.
It is. I just want to sell it immediately. That's all.
Have you sold any?
Nope.
and Lisa doesn't. So his wife, the reason he doesn't sell everything, the reason that the real buy and holder in this relationship is Lisa. We should get Lisa on because
too
Lisa
much credit.
never sells.
She gets too much credit, man. Doximity. I mean, look at that.
She had a couple bad ones in there.
Yeah.
The no selling on the worst one was the Peloton. The no selling on the Peloton.
Yes.
That was the worst one. This is Lisa, though. Joel said, I want to sell the portfolio. He was done. He's like, I own this in the portfolio, but this is not my call. I would have sold this at like $100.
No, it was much higher than 100.
At 80, at 70, at 60, at 50, at 40.
I hate telling this story, but we bought it in 19 before COVID. We rode this puppy up, And then she wanted to buy more in here. And the only time I said, let's put a stop in. Let's get out. And she said, okay, if it dips below 120, because we were looking at the chart and it had like a bad earnings thing, dipped under 100. And then I said, well, we missed it. Can we sell it when it gets back up to 120? She goes, well, it got back up to 120. Why won't it go back to 140? And I almost had Dennis do the valuation talk, the PE talk, but
I was like so bearish Peloton for so long. I was like, I want to enter your portfolio and sell this stuff.
I did too. That's a stinker.
I was one of the first people that started saying like, and then everybody started saying it. It's like a stationary bike with an iPad on it.
Man, we haven't even
like,
talked.
and this is worth $20 billion or whatever the hell it was at the top. It was crazy. That was COVID though. Stuff just went nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the fly banner up here. Let's rate some ratings.
You want to rate some ratings?
Yeah, I want to rate some ratings.
Let's rate some ratings.
Kind of a groovy tune.
It is a groovy tune.
Where you okay? A lot of today. Talk about a small biotech name that continues to get like so many ratings here. KARO, and a lot of these were from last. Or KRRO. I'm not even doing.
You got it.
KRRO. Coro Bio. This got like 2 upgrades yesterday.
Yeah.
3 more today. I'm like, these analysts just get together here. I'm like, we're all going to upgrade this stock. Like, this is a full upgrade party here. So we have Coro Bio, which got murdered back in November. I think we talked briefly about it yesterday. Yeah. 3 more upgrades today. Chardon Capital, Piper upgrading it, and then also, who's the third one?
Thank you to Fly.
HC Wainwright. Right. They always like their small little stocks, HC Wainwright. So HC Wainwright's going from neutral to buy with the 20 PT. We've got Chardon Capital going from 7 to 15. So that's not that much. I mean, it's almost there. Are they going to be selling it later this afternoon then? And then Piper with the big PT, taking it from 11 to 30. So a lot of people are buying the dip on this stock. It's up 17% here. It's a huge move here because the 3 upgrades in one day on just, randomness is usually not, something you see every day. Can you give us a little bit of color here, Brent?
Yeah, thanks to Fly. We are looking inside the Fly platform here. Just real quick, a little functionality. You can see these are just headlines here for our 3 upgrades. You can click read more and we can get some color. So let's go for the Piper analyst here. Strong conviction for the company's 1-2-1 candidate probability for success. KRRO 121 is designed to reduce hyperanemia through generation of stable de novo glutamine synthesis variants.
Oh God, you said that well.
An approach supported by human genetic evidence. Piper is bullish ahead of the company's new drug filing, which is expected in the second half of 2026, saying there is a clear precedent for a regulatory path for the approval of this candidate.
I've never traded this stock. I've never looked at this stock before yesterday. But what I have to say is when you get 5 upgrades in 2 days, kind of makes me interested. Like you're talking about a company with a market cap of $100 million. So this is pure spec. But it also got crushed. The contrarian in me, I like a good crushing and thinking the stock can come back. So I'm intrigued. I don't know if I want to put this in there, but all the analysts think that this is going, at least 5 of them think this is going substantially higher. And we have a great relationship with a lot of Piper analysts here. So, they do their homework here. So interesting. Tech.
Yeah, you guys asked me about this one yesterday, and I said, I think those guys know more than me. So I'm not going to fight it. And now it's going up again. It's a reverse split stock. So I'm not a big fan of those, but there better be something in the pipeline coming. That's all I have to say. I'll just give you the pre-market high of 14.14, and the technicals are mushy. Oh, I got the monthly up there. Let's see if the daily. Oh, the daily has the big gap. So there you go. Yeah, the moving averages, there they are. You can look at them, the 50 and the 200 day.
Rating the Ratings is brought to you by The Fly, your source for over 1,000 breaking news articles daily, delivered in real time with custom filters and alerts. We were looking a little inside the Fly platform a few minutes ago. You can discover more about the new Fly Pro platform with AI-powered company analysis, unique KPI charts for deeper insights, scan the QR code in the bottom right corner. There's also a link in the description where you can learn more about thefly.com. Guys, final thoughts here heading into the open in about a half hour.
Oh, this is going to be a tricky day here. And obviously, the buy the dip mentality is still there. We had Iran headlines last night that knocked the market down, and then they just buy it back anyways. I mean, the underneath demand in the S&P is still there. And then you have this separation happening where you met up 63 points, Microsoft down 33 points. And this is just the way this market has been all year. Some stocks going straight up, some stocks going straight down. And it's hard to buck those trends once they start going in one direction here. So, I mean, I think, it's just about the trend is your friend this year, but individual stocks, some are trending down. So don't think everything's going up. Just because your stocks are at all-time highs is not bringing everything higher. A rising tide in this market doesn't lift all ships.
Big earnings after the close today. Some nice volatility overnight. I just want to see, early on with the S&Ps, the pre-market high up at just under 70.30. That's with the intraday high from yesterday. So the bulls get through that very, very limited resistance. So also for these stocks that are way off their pre-market high, they're still up a lot, but way off their pre-market highs. Just, you're buying them off the hop. Just make sure you get follow through, because there are people that did buy those crazy spikes and they're at 4:00 in the morning and they're like, oh man, any kind of rally, I need to get out. But that's it for today. Great job to Brentster. Great job to Triple D here. And always great to be with our friends here on Pre-Market Prep and our other friends with us for most of the day on the Stock Trader Network.